Monticello, old fisherman, back with you again. We're going to go up here and see if we can catch up a fish. Lake Monticello on a cold, windy morning, Friday. Laid it to the bottom here. One already. I like it when they bite fast. One right there already. Ah, two more. Look at that thing going down. Look at that. A nice Monticello white perch, pound and a quarter to start. Look at that. Oh. Man, I like them kind. That's a fine white perch right there, buddy. I tell you what. It's cold, and I know that wind's going to be blowing through that speaker. But it's coming all the way down to the lake from the southeast. And that angle is a tough angle for Lake Monticello. It's cold now. I got my stocking hat on. I look crazy. Got my little sunglasses on. Got my music light. We're ready to catch some fish. I'm telling you, I'm wired up for this one. Let's see if they'll bite. Cold weather in the 20s this morning. I ain't been in the 20s in a long time. Got the old fisherman of cold. But we're going to see if we can catch some more of these white perch. Come on, white perch. Let's see what happens here. Waves are beating up against the boat. That should call some in. We don't know, but we're going to try. I tell you what, I love being on this lake. You know, a lot of people don't know in life what they enjoy. But I promise you, I know what I enjoy. I enjoy fishing. I'd rather be fishing than anything else that I know of as far as activities otherwise than just enjoying yourself with your wife and your family. Wife and family comes first, fishing comes second. All right, we got another, well, this time he's probably a little bit over half a pound on a natural gut shrimp. Today I got a daggone crappie jig. I just changed, it's my second little video, I'm confused first. But I got a crappie jig on the top and a natural gut shrimp at the bottom. And we're gonna give that a shot. I like to change every day. I'll change midstream and see what we can do. So we're trying a different rod and a different approach. Some days they'll bite with ease and straight up and they'll bump it. Some days I do the slow trolling. Some days I have been known to bump. But I don't do very much of that no more. I've said that before, my shoulders hurt too much for that. So, no need to do all that jerking if you can catch them without jerking a lot. The only jerking I do is when I got a bite. I do enough of that. But anyhow, it's caught. There's a bite. There's a bite. There's a bite. Oh, Lord, there's another white perch. I love it. I can't help but love it. I want it. Oh, Lord. Come on in here, boy. Uh-oh, got a baby. Got a baby snag hook. Now, Looney, I don't know why I feed you, because you are aggravating. You know, I'm going to show you this bird right here. If he comes back there, he might not come back there. Nah, he's done dove down, so I'm going to throw the fish back. He might have a chance. If he can swim hard enough, that one might have a chance. Sometimes them little dive under the boat, you can throw it out where you come from and they won't get it. It ain't no get. Oh, he got it. He got him. Another one was laying underneath and got it. Believe it or not, when you throw that fish through the air, them suckers, I can see them going like torpedoes to it. So they can see that fish, skylight that fish with the sky. And they can see me throwing it through the air and where it's going. It's kind of like throwing a dog a bone or a stick. For him to retrieve, them birds can retrieve it. But they don't bring it back to me, let me tell you. There's a bite. Oh, Lord. That is a nice fish. It's nice. Let's see what we got here. Whoa. That's a nice perch, I believe. I believe that's a nice white perch. Come on, baby. Get in here. Don't let the bird get you. Oh, look at that white perch. And look what I got him on, Mr. Crappie. Mr. Crappie. I've been fishing with the gut shrimp here lately, and I decided I better put Mr. Crappie back on. And look what Mr. Crappie caught me. If that ain't a pound and a quarter perch, they don't make it. He probably goes more than a pound and a quarter. He probably goes more than a pound and a quarter. That is a nice, nice white perch. That's the kind Mr. Steve is looking for, brother. Oh, I tell you, it's just unbelievable how when you get out here and you get involved in catching these fish, how you just put all the cold weather and the rough waters in the back of your mind. I don't even think about it. I focus so much on catching these fish that I don't even think about freezing. It's amazing. That mind control again, I'm telling you. You focus on doing something, all the elements don't make any difference. No difference. So it's all mind control. Focusing, mind control, and I am definitely, oh Lord. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna have to go get me a new shoulder. I can't keep jerking like this and missing it. That's kind of like swinging at a baseball and not hitting it. It hurts. Oh, that joker hit it so hard about knocked it out of my hand and I missed it. I just don't understand how you can miss a fish hit like that. All right, we're gonna. I'm kind of getting off of it. I got out here deep again, boy. I tell you what, I'm pulling myself all around. But I need to go back that way. What happens if I got my trolling motor going faster than the wind is blowing, and I'm when you hit slosh, I'm pulling too hard. And I got to control that. That's one thing I can't keep doing is pulling too fast. Some days it works, but most days you've got to keep it down there at the bottom, and you've got to have it close to the bottom of the strike zone. If you can visualize, you know, I know everybody's probably seen fish bedding, brim bedding, crab. I've seen crabs bedding. Shallow. You can visualize. If you can see down there and put a camera down there that deep, I guarantee you there's little beds all around this hump. And they down there spread out bedding right now is what they doing. And you pulling it by him, and when that thing goes by him on that bed, kind of wiggles by him, now sometimes they won't, but if he's ready to bite, I got to say that, because if he ain't ready to bite, you ain't gonna catch him. If he's ready to bite, that's when you catch him. You pull that jig by a fish on the bed down there that deep, and he is not totally out of it, laying, stressed out, I guarantee you she'll bite him. So he or she bite him. And that's what we're doing. That's what I think's going on. Hey, like I say, and I've said it before, it's nothing but what I think is my theory. I don't make it 100% correct. That's what I believe in my heart, and that's what I'm telling you. But, you know, for years, I go out here fishing by myself. I talk to myself. I hate to admit that, but I do. I talk to myself sometimes. You know, people say if you talk to yourself and start answering yourself, you're a little bit wacky, but I do. I talk to myself. And so now, instead of talking to myself, I'm talking to you people on film. On the show. So anyhow, there's another white perch. I tell you, he ain't a big one. He's a little one. I'm gonna let Looney have him. I hate buddy. I hate it, but I got to let Looney have him. He drives me crazy. All right, drop her back down and see if we can catch another white perch. I tell you what. They say they put these things in here accidentally back years ago. They didn't even, the game department didn't even know, not in here, but it started in Lake Murray. They didn't even know what they were. I think they accidentally put them in there thinking they was white bass at the time. I'm guessing, I'm not, you know, I can't confirm that. And the game department for sure won't own up to that. Lord, when they hit it way down. I'm trying to untie a knot in my reel and one hits, uh-oh, he got on. But I'm sure that they must have put in Lake Murray, back years ago, the white bass, man, you could catch white bass schooling. They were there and had the biggest time. We catch 5 at a time with a top water plug and 4 jigs behind it. I remember tying a devil's horse on and putting 4 jigs, similar to what I'm doing here, behind the top water plug. And when them white bass would come up schooling, we'd throw that thing and work it through them. And you catch one, and by the time it come in, you'd have 5. And they were nice fish too. And that was a load to catch 5 fish. There you go. There it is. You catch 5 fish, that was a load. But I remember doing that. And then all of a sudden, you started catching these things, and they didn't know what in the world they were. I knew they wasn't white bass, because back then it seemed they still got that little blue up under here. White bass ain't got that blue. And they started calling them blue gums because they got a little blue tint up under their lip. Well, we nicknamed them blue gums. And for a long time, that's what we called them, blue gums. But then they found out, the game department finally found out what had happened, I think, and they started naming them proper name, which were a Virginia White Perch, is what I think they call them, Virginia White Perch. Well, wasn't long when they got in the lake, man, they multiplied and took the lake over at that time. And it kind of, they found out that the white bass disappeared. I mean, they're gone. And they found out that had a lot to do with all that stuff. It might be coincidental, I don't know. But the white bass disappeared, and next thing you know, all you got is white perch. Well, for a long time, there was a limit of 30. I mean, they put a 30 limit on them, and we catch 30 and quit, 30 and quit. And finally, they figured out, hey, we don't need these fish. These fish are taking over the lake, in which they will. They'll eat eggs, crappie eggs, brim eggs, bass eggs. They're feeders, I mean. And so, it all goes down to, they accidentally put them in, we call them blue gums, then found out they were white perch. And so by that time, the white bass disappeared in Lake Murray, and I started coming over to Lake Monticello. That's about the time they started backing up this lake. And man, when they started backing up this lake, with all the crappie fishing we done in this lake, catching them, it was unbelievable. And big bass, it was just unbelievable. You could go anywhere on the bank and try to catch fish. You didn't have to have a boat. That's nice. That's nice. You didn't have to have a boat. And so we started coming over here, and then lo and behold, we caught white bass just like I'm doing right now, largemouth and crappies, all doing the same thing, only in a probably a little shallow. Uh-oh. I hope I ain't got a bird. I might have a big largemouth. What I got? That sucker pulling. What I got here? Oh, Lord. I got a blue catfish. A blue catfish. Look at that. Come on, go on. What do I have? I got a blue catfish on the spoon. Golly, I can't believe it didn't hit that shrimp. Look at that. Look at that catfish. Ain't that a pretty thing? That thing's like baby blue. White almost. That thing's nice. That sucker probably weigh, I don't know, at least 3 pounds. Something like that. Just gonna take my needle nose to get him off. Oh, get this chair before I fall out this boat. This wave is kind of whipping me around it. These things here kind of aggravate when they get a spoon in there like that. You got to work with them. You don't want to open his mouth, and then you got a treble hook to get out. You'll get him. Hey, I done got enough of him, I'll get him. If I can get my pliers on him. There he is. Drop that back out here where it don't mess up something. A blue cat. I'll give you a closer up view of him, let you see him. He ain't no monster, but I knew I had something nice. Look at, oh, almost threw him in the lake. Boy, that's pretty on film. Look at that. Blue catfish. Blue cat. He almost went back in the lake, which didn't make no difference. But I do like the catfish fillet. Everybody likes catfish fillet. And a blue catfish fillet especially. Well, let's drop it back down. Boy, I tell you, you never know. And I say it, and I'll keep saying it, you never know what the next bite might bring. I just want to catch one of them 12-pound, 10-pound largemouths on film. I tell you what, I've caught some big ones in here now. Not lately, I haven't caught any 8-pound above, but I've caught a 7-pound around that area this year. But anyhow, we're gonna drop back down and go. Oh Lord, I missed him. I missed him. I'll tell you right now, that hurts my old shoulder when I miss him. Hey, all right, boys. Daddy's on the lake. Tell you, the perch are gonna have a party when I quit fishing. They're gonna have a party and they're gonna have a time. They're gonna say that fisherman is gone. But until then, they better watch out. They better watch out. I tell you that. Hey, I'm gonna do my duties to get rid of these perch. They say they don't want them in the lake. I don't think it's possible to ever catch them out. They multiply too quick. But I can sure thin them out. And that's what I'm trying to do. And having fun doing it, that's what's fun. Thin them out and having fun doing it. I tell you. Darn, I'm tired. I had to get me a booster drink. Really ain't caught that many fish. It just working me over. That old catfish might work me over. I had a largemouth there for a minute. Boy, he can pull. All right, we moved out here again. If I don't float it, I'll pull against that wind. And next thing you know, I pull way up here in the front where I don't really want to be. I'm not doing a very good job operating this boat, talking and fishing. And that's what it takes. You got to put all three of them in combination to be able to make a video, catch fish, and you got to be able to stay where the fish are. You pull them off the ridge, and then when you go back, you don't pull some of them off the ridge, because you catch them, the other ones come, they follow them. So you pull them off the ridge, and then you get too far off the ridge. But it's funny now, last week or so ago, I was catching them in 67, 70 foot of water. They done moved up on this top of this hump and started spawning. They still out here. I mean, there's still plenty of fish. Apparently, most of them on this lake is pulling over here on this hump. I've tried a couple spots. Of course, they liable to be somewhere else. I'm sure they are. But it's hard to be changed if I can come over here and keep catching them. So I'm coming back to the same area and fishing over and over. But there he is. There he is. There he is. Now that feels like another catfish. I swear. Might be a big perch. I think it's a largemouth, but it's a nice fish. The bird's already diving down to get him. I Swanee. Swanee, you got to be scared when that happens, because them suckers, they hook that spoon. The camera goes off at that point. I got to fight him in. Another catfish. Must be a catfish day. See that? Another. Now this time, that's a channel catfish. He's got a little green in him. He's got a little green in his back. That makes him a channel catfish. Channel cat. Now that is the best eating part, I'm concerned. They got a little yellow strip on the back of their neck right there before it goes into the head. That's some sweet meat. Oh, no. My wife loves it. Funny about it, she likes them on the bone. She don't like them filleted. She likes that bone. She thinks that with it fried on the smaller nuts fry on the bone. That's a little bit larger fry on the bone. But get one about 8 or 10 inches long. Shoot. She'll sit there and eat a bunch of them. She loves them. All right. There was a bite. There was a bite. Another bite on Lake Monticello, South Carolina. Oh boy. Jenkinsville. I tell you, there's nothing right there. There's a nut right there. Let's see what way up. I don't know if I can get a nut in the nut. I'm about to get out. There he goes. There he goes. About to pull it up too high to set the hook. Little ones. You ain't mixed out here today. That's why I think the bed. They mixed. They mixed. When I pull that thing across one of them beds where them big ones laying, that's when I'm catching the big ones. These little ones will bite before it gets to the big ones, probably. That's probably what's happening. But you know, it's fun catching them little ones too. I like to catch all big ones, but it don't work like that. You know, I come out here and do what these other guys do, cut the film, just say, oh, I got a big one on, I got a big one on. And no story. No story. It's sitting out there and watching somebody catch all big fish. Well, you know that ain't so. That ain't real. I don't care who you are. You might get in and catch mostly big ones, but you're going to catch the small ones along too. I don't care where you fish. If it's real live action, then live action's the key. Live action is the key. You come out here and you telling a story and hey, I might not be jerking them in fast as I throw it out. A lot of times I do. But you telling a story, it's like going on a fishing trip with your buddy. That's what we do here. Like that atmosphere. We gonna, you know, as I get on any kind of fish, and I will, I ain't gonna stick with these perch. Perch will be over here in a couple of weeks. I won't be fishing for them like this. Now I might, a lot of times in the summertime, I yo-yo a crappie jig on them and catch an ultralight. This is something different than 15 foot of water. Something different. And it's funny, they'll go through phases. You can catch them like this in the winter, then in the summer, in the spring, you can't catch them like this. It's different phases. There's different ways to catch them. You just got to do what you like to do and when you like to do it. If it's cold weather you like to fish in, this is what you do. What you see is what you get in cold weather. That's my favorite, cold weather perch fish. After that, I'd rather fish for largemouth after the small June, April, May and June, boy, that's some largemouth fishing there. Problem is you can't, you know, if you want to keep a few, I do like a largemouth, and I'll keep a few, but then you throw them back. But right now, you ain't got to worry about throwing nothing back. This white perch has no limit. That's what I like. Yeah, it's a pretty fair one. He's probably a little bit over half a pound on the natural gust shrimp. He's a little bit if you lay one outside, you only got a little bitty, tiny strip of meat. But anyhow, I'm going to cut this film. I'm going to catch one more for you. Because if I make them too long, people get bored. My wife keeps telling me I make them too long, but I get out here talking. Next thing I know, 20 minutes has gone by. And if I'm talking too much, I ain't catching a lot of fish. And people say, when you going to catch a fish? So it's a lot to put together to make a fishing show. Streaming on live at natural speed when you don't cut any tape. Yeah, it's a little one. I need to get in some big ones. I don't want to use all my, I don't know, yeah, man. That's a nice fish, look at that. Oh yeah, on the crappie jig too. Tell you that Mr. Crappie will catch them too. That gut shrimp catch both of them good baits. Last year I didn't even fish with the Mr. Crappie. I fished with gut shrimp only. This year I said, you know, I'm gonna try something different. The only advantage of the Mr. Crappie is you can catch a lot more fish on one jig if they'll bite it. For the gut shrimp, it tears up. But then you get in a situation like I was a couple of days ago. I was catching them on a half a gut shrimp, which I don't even have a half on that a day. Maybe I'm messing up, but I'm catching them all right on this. There's another white perch, Lake Monticello, South Carolina. Steve Comalander doing what he loves to do, catch white perch. And he's a nice one on the crappie jig. Look at there. A hot pink and chartreuse or yellow. I reckon that's a combination of chartreuse and yellow. It's got a little bit of both colors and kind of in between. But hot pink, I tell you, it's my first year using the hot pink. So another one of my experimental things, hot pink. Hey. I'm glad you folks could join me today, and I appreciate, like I said in my other video, I appreciate all the comments that I'm getting. I found out some people like my style to come out here and do it live, and that's what I'm all about. Oh, there's another bite. Action, and a lot of action. And, a couple years ago, I got into the big crappies like this, very similar to this. Up the lake, I was catching them in 35 foot of water on a hump. They come up and it was like a little peak. It was like almost like when they cleared the lake, that they took bulldozers and mounted the mound up. Oh Lord, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. I don't know what that is. That might be a largemouth, I'm not sure. But he's a nice one unless I got him hooked in the belly. Could have him hooked in the belly. Yeah, it ain't no largemouth. I think it's a fish hooked in the belly. And they'll do that sometimes. You go to set the hook, get snagged in the belly, and then it pulls like a hook fish. That's what it is. I mean, he's a half-pound perch, but he's hooked in the belly with that spoon. He bit that doggone gut shrimp or something right above it when I jerked up. And at that time, I was straight down. I wasn't pulling. So, but that I thought was a big fish, but it wasn't. But anyhow, go back to the crappie story. I found the crappies up next to the hot water up there. You can't get within a mile of the plant. And 9/11 come, used to go in and catch them closer. When 9/11 come, they stopped anybody from going within a mile of this nuclear power plant because of terrorist threat. So I found the crappies out. It's deep water all around, and it was like a push-up, like they pushed a mound up. It might have been a log where they was logging and pushed up a pile of logs up there, and they left some of them. Well, it was logs. You didn't really get hung up too bad. They was laying flat on the bottom, but I found the crappies in there, and I caught 30 crappies with a jig and a crappie jig and minnow right on the bottom that weighed 60 pounds. That was back when the limits were 30. And that's probably the best crappie fishing day I ever had in my life. Nothing to snag. 60 pounds of crappies with 30 crappies. That was an average of 2 pounds a piece, and that is no joke. That actually happened. And reliving that was one summer, and now I've done that for about a month. Right now, it was this time of year. I hadn't been up there with minnows. I've been on these perch. I don't think they bite like they used to. Like I've tried it a couple times with jigs up there, and I catch one or two. But at one spot, they were out there. I guess they were waiting to run up into that hot water and spawn. I don't know. And they were female crappies. I mean, they were big and full of eggs. So that was the best day that I ever had in my life. That's been probably, it's been several years back. It ain't like that no more. I used to catch crappies in this lake. I was the crappie man here for a while. I had to watch myself. It was a 30 limit, boy. It was so easy to catch 30. Them game wardens, they watched me like a hawk. It was hard to quit at 30. I don't mind telling you. I'll be the first to confess. You catch crappies, you catch 30, it's just hard to quit. You have to make yourself quit, but I did, and try to stay out of trouble. Sometimes, it's hard to do, staying out of trouble. But man, we had some fun in this lake, crappie fishing. And another thing we had fun doing, up toward the power plant, you could go in there and the water would hump straight up out of 100 foot of water right up there on a 12 foot. Well, we found out that you could go mark that with a buoy at 12 foot next to that deep water and throw out and take you some wheat, put it in some water in a 5-gallon bucket and let it, I call it brew, spoil basically, and let it sour. And then you go back, and when you get that 12 foot of water up there on that hump, you just throw that wheat around that buoy. And you back off and throw an anchor out and chunk what they call Doc's catfish formula. And it's a catfish bait. And we use a sponge, a little sponge cut about the size of your thumb. And we would put that sponge and we put a little cooking oil in the Doc's catfish. It was kind of a thick mixture of brown looking and stink. But we put a little cooking oil in it and mix it up where it was kind of like when you're mixing up fish batter with beer batter and mixing it up like a Coke, a little bit thinner than peanut butter, but you can douche that thing down in there, that sponge down in there with a stick, and get that Doc's catfish formula all in that sponge. You can throw that thing out, and the sponge with the Doc's on it would kind of float. You have a layer down here, and it would kind of set up there about foot or so off the bottom when you threw it out there. And boy, you talking about catching, we catch 100 pounds at a time. It's as fast as you throw it out. I'm talking about catfish anywhere from a half a pound to 10 pounds. It was some more fun. We went through that stage, and then 9/11 comes, and it run all that because they blocked you off from getting up there with all them catfish. So you still can do that wheat thing and the catfish, but you got to be away from the hot water, the nuclear power plant. Right there's a nice perch. He probably weighs pound, 3/4 to a pound. That's probably what he weighs. That's a good average size perch. I like catching, I'm catching a lot of nice perch now on that daggone crappie jig, that pink, the pink. So, but anyhow, that's my story for today. I'm gonna let you folks go. I might cut you back on again in a minute. I got to watch my videos. But thank you for joining me. I love all of you here. Bye, Steve Comalander.